All right, so let's break down a couple of facts here for sure for Dodge when it comes to the 2024 year. Fact number one, Dodge is down on sales. That is a true fact. There's number two support that, right? Fact number two, some contributing factors for Dodge being down on sales are interest rates, right? Interest rates kind of went up over the year, right? They're kind of getting better, but they went up, right, for the most of the year. Another thing as well, the price of the cars has also went up. That has also been a factor as to why Dodge sales have declined a lot, right? On top of that, the dealerships are adding their tax and markups on top of the high price of the cars, right? So taking account of all those factors combined, they all contribute to Dodge sales being completely trash when it comes to this year as a whole. But there's another simple issue that Dodge completely didn't really care about that contributed to why their sales have tanked this year. And this issue was kind of a simple thing to fix in my eye, but nonetheless, it was a simple fix and they just kind of completely ignored it. So let's get into the video. Let's talk about the issue here. This is my Dodge Charger Scat Pack wide body. It's big, it's loud, it's bright red. It simply grabs attention no matter where I go. Unfortunately, I bought a car that is 60 times more likely to be stolen than any other car on the road. With the long list of mods and things I bought for this car, one of the first things I installed on my car was this. CarLock, the world's best GPS tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you will be able to live track your car with the GPS from your phone. Also, get alerts sent directly to your phone if anything is going on with your car, such as vibrations, engine starting, the car moving when it shouldn't be moving, or if there's a loss of power, your CarLock will get an alert for that as well. Be sure to get your CarLock. Use my link down in the description below and these discount codes to get a 10% discount on your CarLock purchase, as well as a 14-day free trial of the CarLock service as well. Let's get into the video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail. So in short, yes, Dodge screwed themselves when it comes to sales for 2024. Sales have been reported for every quarter this year, and each quarter Dodge has been lacking in their sales in comparison to 2023. So what gives? So why is Dodge sales so bad this year? Now, we talked about a couple of factors at the top of the video that contributed to Dodge sales pretty much tanking, right? We talked about the high cost of the cars. We talked about the fact that dealerships are playing these games with that. We talked about some of the interest rates and stuff with these cars and whatnot, not really enticing people to want to buy a car because of that. So all of that does play a factor, right? But even if those things were not a factor this year, it would have been impossible for Dodge to make up the sales that they had last year compared to this year for one really simple reason that a lot of their competitors are not having an issue with. So let's dive into some of the numbers really quick. Now, before I hop into the reason why the sales are terrible outside of the factors I told you about, let's talk about the actual numbers where they stand right now here, right? So I did a video talking about the sales for Q3, right? And all Q2, the whole year, whatnot. So right now, as of Q3, some of the numbers that have been reported, we're gonna ignore all this. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys here. We're going to ignore Jeep, we're going to ignore Ram, we're going to ignore Chrysler. We're only going to look at the Dodge brand where they stood at the end of Q3 here, right? So Q3 as a whole, we see current year to date sales. We want to look at that column here, that last column. And you see down there, if you're looking at overall sales for the Dodge brand, right? So move my microphone a little bit closer here. So if you're looking at the sales, so for the previous year, 156,000 sales, right? Well, compared to this year, 119,000 sales. So that is a 24% decrease when compared to the previous year, right? So we know the Charger and Challenger are no longer here. The other thing, they got the Durango, which is mainly the one that really decreased 13%. They still got that in production. They do have a 2024 Durango, so we have that. But you see how bad the Charger and Challenger fell off from last year to this year. So there is more to those numbers than what you see right here. All right, so I pointed out a 24% difference in sales for overall for Dodge, right? So let's look at the actual units sold, right? The difference. So the difference in units sold from 2023 to 2024, as it stands at the end of Q3, you're looking at, let me make sure I did the math right, 37,650 units. So that's how many units they didn't sell this year that they sold last year. So let's remember that number, 36,650. And another thing you have to remember here, big chunk of their sales from 2023 were the Charger and Challenger. You might see where I'm going with this, but that was their bread and butter. All right, so we got our number that they are short on, 37,000, right? 37,600 units. So let's look at like right now, like how many units do they have out there to sell at this very moment? So let's take a quick look at what we have here now. So you see on the screen here, I got it here so you guys can follow along as well. So let me move my mic here. So we're looking at the inventory. So right now, if you're looking for a Dodge Challenger, right, you're seeing right now, you have a total of 2,800 units of Dodge Challengers, brand new. This could be give or take. We don't know if these numbers are going to be 100% accurate, but it should be fairly close as to what we're seeing for units, right? We hop over to the Dodge Charger, 3,200 units. So look here, 28, 32. So if we're doing our math, right, that's about 6,000 units that are sitting on the lot right now. So remember, we are short about 37,000 units right now. So in conclusion right here, well, it's not the end of the video yet, but if Dodge is looking as to why their sales are so low, I mean, they don't have the inventory to even make up the sales. It's nearly impossible for them to even come close to their sales last year when the two cars that they sold the most of that accounted for almost half of their sales, they don't have enough units to sell, right? 6,000 units, like let's just say like they put these cars on sale right now. They sold every single one of these cars for half off. They would clear the lots for every single car that they had for Dodge Chargers and Challengers at this very moment. They would still be down on sales. They wouldn't even come close to the sales. I mean, we're not talking like the revenue portion or the profit portion, any of that type of stuff. We're just mainly talking the units that they have available to sell. And you can see here that they don't have the units to sell at all, period. Now, if that didn't make sense as to why they're low on sales, I'm gonna give you a much simpler scenario for you to think about here. Let's say you own a lemonade stand, you run a lemonade stand, right? And you're selling lemonade. Well, duh. Your goal is you're gonna open your business for 2 years, but you're only gonna make 10,000 cups of lemonade. That's it. And you make all 10,000 cups of lemonade the first year, right? So your first year, you have 10,000 cups of lemonade. You sell in your first year 7,000 cups of lemonade for $1. Now we go into year 2. You have 3,000 cups of lemonade left, and you decide to up the price from $1 to $1.50. Everybody that really wanted a cup of lemonade probably and more than likely bought the cup of lemonade the first year. They don't need another cup of lemonade for the next year or whatever, right? And those that didn't buy it, they see that the price is higher and nothing has changed. They're not as willing to buy a cup of lemonade for a higher price than what it was advertised for the year before, right? You got the higher price and you don't have the inventory. So even if you sold every cup of lemonade that you have, you only got 3,000 units, right? You only have 3,000 cups of lemonade to sell. And so your sales are gonna be down automatically because you simply don't have inventory to sell. But let's be honest, right? Even though there's about 6,000 units left over for 2023 between the Charger and Challenger, in the grand scheme of things, that's not really a lot of units left, right? For example, if we compare it to the Mustang, the new 2024 Mustang, if you look at all the models that they have, I looked on cars.com. If you search all of those, you have a total of about 5,000. Just the Mustang by itself, 5,000 brand new Mustangs on the lot nationwide. And you see here, we got 6,000 of Chargers and Challengers on the lot nationwide here. So it's not a lot. And on top of that, like if you're looking to buy one now, your options for what you're looking for are really slim to none. So let me show y'all something really quick here. Like for example, if I'm looking nationwide, let's say I'm looking for a red Charger Scat Pack wide body, exactly the one that I have, right? So if I'm looking for that, I go to models, Scat Pack wide body. We have 328 of those on the lots nationwide, according to this website, right? According to the power locator, right? But if I'm looking for red, if I only want a red one, nationwide there are 12. Nationwide there are only 12 of those, right? And I'm gonna show y'all the prices. These prices are just wild. The cheapest one, you see the prices, man. The cheapest one that we have, let me move my mic over here. So the cheapest one that we got here is what, 59,000. That's the cheapest one. All these are $60,000 for a Scat Pack wide body. At least 60,000. But let's look at a more common color, all right? Let's look at black. Black is a really common color. 31 nationwide. That's not a lot. 31 is not a lot at all. So you don't have a lot of options for things you're looking for. But hey, let's go look at a red eye jailbreak. If we want to go with a red eye jailbreak, well, there's nothing there. Actually, let me unclick the color here. So if we're looking at for a hellcat, let's check all 4 of these. So if you're looking for a hellcat, either a red eye or a wide body, just the normal 717 one, there's a total of 158 in all colors. I mean, nationwide, that's not really a lot of those out there. So if you go to buy one, depending on your dealership, they may not be willing to negotiate the price with you because you don't have options to shop around. So that may turn people away from buying these particular cars. Now, that's still not going to help the fact that they don't have a lot of cars to sell to make up the deficit that they're in compared to 2023. So there's no way for them to catch up. So realistically here, what should have Dodge done to make sure they wasn't in this bad of a deficit when it comes to sales? The simplest thing they should have did was have the 2024 Dodge Charger ready. That's all they had to do. They knew that after 2023, they were going a different route when it came to these cars. And a lot of other manufacturers, when one model ends, they have another model to come right after that, right? Like Mustang, when the 2023 Mustang, that model was done, they had the 2024 ready to go. With Chevy, I know they don't have the Camaro, but when it comes to the Corvette, they had the next model ready to go. There wasn't like a time frame of them not having cars to sell. They kept it going. Dodge really just shot themselves in the foot, and for them to act like they're surprised at why their sales are so low, I mean, really, if you don't have cars to sell, how are you going to make sales? I mean, that's kind of like common sense 101 right there. Like you took a year off plus from producing cars, and you're sitting here wondering like, why are our sales so low? We don't know what's going on. You don't have anything to sell. Your biggest seller, you decided not to make anything for 2024. You should have been ready to drop these cars at the beginning of 2024. Drop the EVs, drop the inline 6 cars with a 6-pack. Drop those at the beginning of 2024. That would have helped close the gap when it comes to sales. Would it been the same? Maybe, maybe not, but we'll never know because they decided to do it. Now, the EVs probably wouldn't sell that well, but the 6-pack would have did pretty decent. I think it would have did well enough to make up that deficit of what they had. And they still would have had the 2023s on the lot too. So you have a lot of cars that you could have sold. A lot of cars you could have sold. And they wouldn't be sitting here looking stupid as they do now. So that is going to wrap up today's video, guys. Yeah, so pretty much Dodge did it to themselves. I mean, we already know all the other factors, but not having anything to sell was pretty silly. If you know what you got coming down the pipeline, if you know you're about to stop production of your biggest seller, you better have something to come in right after that to keep the thing going. And they pretty much just took a year off and not had anything new to sell except the cars they made almost a year ago or 2 years in some cases. It's about to be 2025 and you're still trying to sell off 2023 cars. That's not a good business. That's terrible. That's terrible planning. If you made it this far in the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of car related things on this channel, and make sure you lock it in so you can stay up to date on everything we got going on. Thank y'all for tuning in to this video. We'll catch you on the next one. We are out. Cut it.